So I have been talking about this trad wife lifestyle for a little while now. Now, there are a few reasons why. Number one, the stories keep coming. Women keep telling their own stories in video and in print form. So that's number one. Number two, when I share these stories, other women who have lived this lifestyle or the children of the women who have lived this lifestyle talk to me in the comments about what it was like when their husband divorced them, walked away, when their husband died prematurely, if their husband or their grandfather or somebody became disabled and couldn't work. What happened to those families? And so I keep sharing their stories because those are lived experiences as well. And the third reason I keep doing it is because the people who really, really like this lifestyle, who jump into my comments like, why I share it because those people keep getting upset. And I'm going to keep sharing. I don't care. I don't care if it has worked out for you for 30 years. I'm talking about the women it has not worked out for. And I want women to have a plan. B, C, D, E, F, G, elemental, all of the plans, because even in best case scenario, a husband could die prematurely. A husband can have a disease that keeps him from working. A job could be cut, whatever. I don't care. Even in great circumstances, women need to be able to survive regardless of marital status. Now, this article, this woman was a former trad wife, and she wrote this story herself. She says, I hit the jackpot with the trad wife lifestyle until it all came crashing down. And this is Marie Bentley. The subheading says, I began creating the white picket fence life I thought I wanted. We even started homeschooling. If I was going to be home all day anyway, why not? Let's get into this. So here is a picture of Marie Bentley. This is who is telling the story. She says, search the term trad wife on TikTok and you'll find thousands of carefully curated videos from creators like 26-year-old Esty Williams from Richmond, Virginia, and Hannah Nealman, also known as Ballerina Farm, who has amassed 7 million followers, sharing cooking and homemaking videos from her Utah farmhouse. The videos feature a soft life aesthetic, modern women clad in 50s housewife aprons, baking bread and arranging flowers in full makeup and perfectly styled hair. The content is appealing. Williams' TikTok has 1.3 million likes across her videos, touting the benefits of relying on a partner to take care of you. In that regard, I was also a trad wife throughout my 12-year marriage. I would like to point out that Esty Williams and the Ballerina Farm are making money off of their content. So they are not actually trad wives, they are trad wife influencers. Influencers make money off of content. Keep that in mind. Those women will never face what real trad wives face. Okay, let's continue. She says the trad wife life is a slippery slope. She says, throughout my first marriage in our early 20s, my husband and I muddled through, 3 young children in tow, making the best life we could. We eventually divorced. I became a single mom, and a bit more muddling ensued. I was always one step behind, stressed out, overworked, and underemployed. Then I remarried. When I became pregnant with my youngest, the older kids in public school, my advanced maternal age and medical history made the pregnancy high risk. We agreed that I should quit my job. So I did and immediately began nesting. I began creating the white picket fence life I thought I wanted. We even started homeschooling. If I was going to be home all day anyway, why not? I became the master of penny craft ideas on Pinterest, meal planning, and decorating my home. In 2019, I started working from home here and there, taking on ghostwriting and freelance work, but none of that money truly contributed to the household. I let my husband take care of everything related to running the home. He's a CPA and financial advisor by trade, so why would I worry my pretty little head about any of that? Had I asked, he likely would have shared the details. Neither of us gave it much thought though, and it worked well for a while. A crash course in adulting. After our divorce hearing, I walked out of the local courthouse a homeowner, having been awarded the family home, but blissfully unaware of the ramifications. I was suddenly solely responsible for the home maintenance, utilities, property tax, and homeowners insurance. I received a crash course on adulting. I was even hit with an HOA violation letter because my home needed a good pressure washing. Of course, it did. My husband hadn't lived there for nearly a year. A patch of lichen had taken up permanent residence on my mailbox. HOAs and amenities fees were immediately due. The sprinklers needed to be programmed. With that, of course, a water bill increase. I would need to schedule and pay the lawn guy. That mulch wasn't going to spread itself. I also quickly realized I'd better start budgeting some sinking funds for the property tax due after the holidays. My ex husband and I just fell into traditional gender roles. It was easier than putting in the work. When he moved out, he struggled with working his air fryer, ordering delivery on his phone, and navigating the grocery shopping. I hadn't necessarily dug my head in the sand over the years, but I sure hadn't been as proactive as I could have. The importance of taking an active role in finances. Shari Rash is the founder and financial advisor at GWA Wealth. I speak with women all the time when out socially or at moms groups that once they hear what I do for a living, I get the response, "Oh, my husband handles all of that." Rash said that it's often a significant event that prompts a person to act or become actively involved in managing their finances. Typically, this event tends to be something negative, perhaps the loss of a parent, unemployment, divorce, the death of a spouse, or even witnessing one of those events happen to someone close. According to a report by Bank of America, 94% of women believe that they will be personally responsible for their finances at some point during their lives, yet they are less involved in long term financial decisions than their partners. Nearly half of the 3,500 women surveyed said they feel confident about their finances, but only 28% feel empowered to take action on them. Rash encourages women to take an active role in household finances, whether they work outside the home or not. That doesn't mean you're tracking the stock market daily and day trading your accounts. It means you know what your husband has and you're included in the conversation. Money mindset begins in childhood. A parent's hands off approach to family finances has a larger effect within a family unit. Kids are like little sponges absorbing every detail of our behavior, especially when it comes to relationships and finances. Certified public accountant Maya Korbick said, "They're shaping their money mindset as they observe how we interact with money and each other. Everything they see, hear, and feel becomes their perception of normal." Korbick's goal is to teach every child how to become a financially independent adult. Many moms who attend my parent workshops share stories of how their upbringing influenced their views on finances. For instance, some grew up in a household where their fathers solely made financial decisions, leading to the belief that only men handle investments. This perpetuates the notion that women shouldn't be involved in financial matters and must rely on men for financial security. Corbick advises parents to be aware of the messages they're sending children and that they consciously model healthy financial behaviors and empower them to develop a balanced and informed relationship with money. One way to do this is by dedicating time each month to review the household budget, discuss spending habits, and prioritize savings. Regular money dates serve as a cornerstone for financial harmony, adding that they promote transparency within the family and emphasize the importance of intentional discussions about family finances. Baby steps to finance awareness. Rash urges those who depend financially on their partners to immediately dig in and do the work. But this doesn't apply to those falling into traditional gender roles in their relationships. All adults who are sharing their lives with a partner can benefit from becoming more financially aware. Important topics to discuss with your partner include your individual or joint debt, money available in savings or investment, mortgage balance and equity in home, total monthly household expenses, availability of emergency funds. You do not want to get into an emergency and not be able to answer these questions because anything could happen at any time. And being aware that emergencies happen and you need to have access to money is important. Stop putting your head in the sand and take control of your life. Don't just rely on one person who could be gone the next day. Jump in the comments, like, comment, share. I just want to go over some of the comments that I had under my trad wife life videos. This woman, Priscilla, says, I used to be a trad wife for 18 years. I was manipulated, controlled, and abused emotionally and physically. I now live paycheck to paycheck and I'm 41. I don't disagree with being a trad wife, but be careful. Not every man deserves that privilege. He will use and abuse it. Even in this short comment, is like she knows that it's not particularly healthy, but she's still perfectly fine with it. But I asked, what would she do differently? She said, I made the mistake of dropping out of medical college firstly for him when I was 20. Had I not done that, it would have been easier to leave a bad situation. I wish I thought about the kind of father he would be to my kids and how it would affect them later. Love myself enough to know I don't deserve to be treated that way. I wish more women could see what happens on the tail end versus the happy, romantic fairy tale vibes that some women see or some girls are programmed with. We need to see the real deal so that women and girls can protect themselves from this type of lifestyle. Men get especially irritated with me saying have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G because I am married. This person, Jason, says, Chick, I'm happily married. Same chick. I'm always thinking about a plan B escape plan. When she says nobody owes you nothing, her husband should be nervous too. And I said, totally sure that my husband knows that I can survive regardless of if I'm married or not. I got married as an adult that was living on her own. He knows I'll be okay. I got married at the age of 33. I had already had my undergrad degree. I have an MBA. I have professional experience. I had different certificates at that particular point in time. I was living on my own successfully. So there's no reason why I would be struggling, even if I had to get a job after marriage or whatever. I would be perfectly fine. He says, BurbNBougie, more power to you. I tried to get my wife to go back to work, but she says she doesn't want to anymore. We don't have a secret stash of money nor a backup partners. At least I don't. And I feel like she would be planning on leaving if she started doing that. I don't have a backup partner at all, but I would be able to survive regardless. And some of these men, I think they're projecting my saying have a plan B, C, D as thinking that their women are planning on leaving them or looking at another man. This is not about another man. And, that's the reason why I don't talk to men. Men don't get that women need to survive. I told y'all the children of these trad wives also speak. This woman says, my mom tried to do the trad wife thing. We ended up in poverty, not because my dad didn't make enough money, but because he preferred to spend his money on other women. So they grew up in poverty. These children will remember this and never do this again if they can avoid it. eBay Rose says traditional wives worked in the home and their communities. At the minimum, they budgeted and cut down their household spending. There was a brief economic boom from the late 40s to the late 60s for the middle class that enabled a life of privilege for the masses that isn't replicable today. But stay at home parent while the kids are young and part time work once the youngest is in school is what parents should work towards where possible, as it's best for the children to be bonded to a parent as their primary caregiver and continue to have easy access to them and their time and attention through pubescence. I said, all of that is fine and good. What is not good is the sacrifice women can make, easily turning into being homeless if a man just leaves. All of the sacrifices and lack of financial credits will bite a woman in the butt. So women have to be able to survive regardless of marital status. Women's sacrifices mean lack of financial security and no safety nets. You can read through the comments to see why I'm so passionate about this. And then eBay Rose says child support based on the man's income, and even if he finds out the kid isn't his through DNA, blah, blah, and then he starts to go into these typical talking points. And then to that, I was like, this doesn't really matter. I just want women to be able to survive regardless of marital status. I just keep coming back to that. Sometimes these men come into my comment section and they talk about sacrifice, but men aren't the ones that are usually sacrificing their financial future. It's the women that are sacrificing that. Not your everyday Ashley says, "Yep, I was left by my husband, and after giving up my career so he could further his own, I didn't get anything in the divorce either because I felt too ashamed and guilty for taking what he earned. I now live in an apartment and he owns both of our homes." Dang. Okay, so this person at the bottom says the gap in education and work experience is definitely a factor. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 20 years, and I can tell you if I had left the classroom after my first year of teaching in 2004 and tried to come back today, it would be a whole new world. So women have got to think about that gap in career experience. Basha says, saddest thing is how men have failed us. I got married to be married, not divorced. After being kicked out of the house multiple times with our children, I promise when, not if, it happens again, I would never go back. Well, it happened again. An 8-year old from a previous relationship, our 8-month-old colicky twins, and 3 months pregnant with only $45 to my name that my grandmother sent me for my birthday. That was 26 years ago. And I only went back one time to pick up some things and never looked back. It is only by the grace of Yahweh that the children and I have made it so far. They are all self sufficient, and I live alone. I'm so thankful to Yahweh for his mercy and grace towards thy children and I. I wish that women would stop putting so much on their God for these men. I mean, for actually coming through after their men are failures in these relationships, because this is a failure. And, really look at the hard work and dedication that they had to do to be able to survive this. But regardless, this is one of the reasons why I say I talk about this all the time, because women and children are impacted by these men walking out, or in her case, kicking her out. Loving If Designs says, my grandmother and mother told me to work and have a backup plan. My grandmother was forcibly married at 16 to a man she had never met before. My grandfather was insecure and abused her. She even had to pretend she couldn't read because that threatened my grandfather. He was afraid she'd get a job and leave if she could read. My mother worked all her life, which was lucky because my dad died when she was still in her 50s. I've worked since I was 17, and so have my kids. When women see these types of things, they try not to be like these women who have been in financial insecurity or home insecurity because of the men in their lives. This woman says, I've always worked. I felt guilty that I couldn't stay home with my kids when they were little, but it was a good thing that I continued to work because I'm in IT and you can't just lose 5 or 10 years. You'll never be able to get a decent job. Now my husband isn't working and I've been supporting all of us. Understand that even with having a good husband, sometimes layoffs happen, sometimes downsizing happens, sometimes hours get cut. Women need to be able to fill in the gap for their families as well. And for the last comment, making women financially dependent is a very popular form of control that's often the first step to abusive marriage. And even though it's a popular fantasy for toxic men, I just thought it's dangerous to them too. If their men are actually good people that they love, aren't these trad wives afraid what will happen if he becomes seriously ill or disabled and couldn't work in his field anymore and would need financial help? It would definitely help if these women worked and tried to help their spouses in need in such a situation. Or they would leave him because becoming disabled is apparently not manly or something. I keep bringing up these things because this is life in America, and our medical system is terrible right now. Job security is terrible right now. Why these people don't think that this is a possibility is beyond my imagination. People really need to think about the reality of what is going on in this country, and it is not safe or financially feasible to rely on one income when most of us are one blown tire away from missing rent or missing a mortgage payment. Please be effing for real. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So this next woman you're about to see, I have featured her on my page before, but she was doing a live and I happened upon it. And she was talking about how she thinks marriage is overrated. She is a former trad wife and now she is a single mom. And she talks about the trad wife to mom poverty pipeline as well. And she is just speaking because she wants women and girls to be safe as well. So listen to a clip of this live that I was able to screen record.
You're my inspiration. I will carry your words for the rest of my life. Grace, you melt my heart. And if all that came from this was that a beautiful girl like you was able to like see your fucking life's path a little differently, I'm happy. I will die happy because you like look remind me of my daughter. And I just want my daughters to have a good life. I just want them to have a chance at life. I just want them to be happy. Like, happy in your soul. I'm not happy on social media. I don't give a fuck what they look like on social media. I don't give a fuck what I look like. Oh, Jenny! Thank you. The problem with the square peg in the round hole is that forcing it, will damage the peg forever. Oof. Shelby, please expand on that. Who's the peg? Am I the peg? Is he the peg? Who's the peg? Who's the peg? A child is a bigger commitment than marriage, though, I think, right? Yes. I wish I could have married one person and had children with somebody else because I love my children. And yeah, no, having children with someone is such a bigger commitment than marrying them. You can get out of marriage perfectly fine. Oh, Valerie, I love you. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You made me want to heal my trauma. I always ran to men to heal or feel safe. Yeah, and they're not our healers. They're not our safe place. You have to be that for yourself. You know what I always think of? This was like, I was a Christian for a lot of my life, and I still pull from some of those Christian stories. I just don't, the God is not that God. It's different. Oh, God damn it, you're right. We are the pegs being forced by society's antiquated ideals. I want them to be powerful and strong. I know. Huh? Danny Dynamico, I remember you. But I can't. I am grateful I married my kid's dad. I protected myself financially by doing that, but it's terrible. Anitza, you helped me from getting stuck into the trad wave trap at 18. I can't... Girl, I will die forever fucking happy knowing that someone avoided it. That is like all the fucking validation I needed in life, because I remember the conversations we had. I remember being like, girl. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy. I think it's beautiful when women invest our time and energy into other women. That's what we should be doing. Pouring into each other, helping each other. There is enough support for men. The world was built by men for men. We need to support each other. We need to empower each other. All the energy and all the goodness that you have inside, give it to another woman and see what she can do with it. We are made to multiply. That is in our DNA. So you pour goodness into another woman and watch what she can do with it, you know? I share y'all's stories. I'd love to talk to you on my YouTube for my audience. Oh my God, of course. Follow back. Girl, I am so down to collaborate. Yes, better to have just avoided the trap altogether. But I didn't. It got me. Save yourselves. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Thank you for all the likes. I love you guys. But also, if you're stuck, you don't have to stay stuck. Cool. Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Or like the better way, go to my website and contact me there, because those emails I see and they get more of my attention. Sometimes the TikTok inbox is funny, so so I don't know. A village to me is more important than a husband. Absolutely. Having friends in a village. Oh, grateful I found you today. I love you, Jenny. Do I follow you back? Do you follow me? Follow back. What was the turning point for you? Oh my God, when the light turned on to leave. Okay, literally, there was an actual light bulb moment. I was folding my laundry and I was miserable. And I was watching a TV. I would watch The Price is Right to make myself happy. because watching other people have happiness was like, cool, that's beautiful, at least they're happy. But then it also makes me cry. And he would always tease me that I cry watching The Price is Right. So I was watching The Price is Right, kind of crying, folding laundry, thinking, I wish my mother could save me. I wish I was watching Price is Right at my mom's house. And then I thought, well, when my oldest daughter grows up and gets married, I'm going to make sure that I'm financially stable enough to help her escape her shitty marriage. And so, like, I was already dreaming of that life for my daughter, and it, like, a light bulb went off, and I was like, well, why does she doesn't have to do that. Maybe she just won't. And then I was like, okay, well, she's probably going to marry someone like her dad. Oh, that would be a night. Fuck. And, like, I just, like, went through the thoughts and was like, if I want her to do better, I'm going to have to fucking show her how. I can't tell her not to enter this life while I'm doing it. She's going to do what I did. And it, like, all, like, the weight of the world. And from that point on, I started to get my shit together to leave. And when I left, I never went back. Stuck today doesn't mean stuck forever. Sometimes there isn't time to plan, but no, you will be okay. That's right. That's right. A fucking men. Oh, I just want to be on her podcast to hype y'all up. And Erica, you live in fucking Boulder?